Every city has one. A large, quiet building behind iron gates, flags at the entrance, diplomats coming and going, an embassy, a place protected by international law, a place no one is supposed to search. Welcome to Shadow Archives. This is the story of the spy ring that operated right under the nose of British intelligence for years. To understand what happened, we need to understand how Cold War espionage actually worked. Most spies were not inside embassies. They were around them. They used embassies as safe contact points, as post boxes, as cover. But in London in the late 1950s, the KGB had something far more audacious in mind. The KGB operated through a system called the legal residency. Officers would live and work in a foreign country under completely false identities. Not as diplomats, not as known Soviets, but as perfectly ordinary foreign nationals. They blended in, they built lives, and they gathered secrets. In 1960, British counterintelligence, MI5, began to notice something wrong. A man named Gordon Lonsdale had been moving through London scientific and naval circles. He seemed to know too much, and he seemed to know the right people. Lonsdale was not who he claimed to be. He never had been. His real name was Konon Molody. Born in Moscow, trained by the KGB, he had entered Britain using a stolen Canadian identity and had spent years building a cover as a businessman. And he was not alone. Hidden in a quiet suburban house in Ruislip, West London, lived a couple named Peter and Helen Kroger. The Krogers were not a retired couple from New Zealand. They were Soviet intelligence officers. Inside the Kroger house, MI5 would later find a radio transmitter hidden beneath the kitchen floor. Microdots concealed in books, coded messages, a one-time pad for encryption. The house looked like a bookseller's home. It was a KGB communications hub. What were they after? The ring was focused on British naval intelligence, specifically the underwater detection systems used against Soviet submarines. In essence, they were mapping Britain's ability to track Soviet nuclear submarines, and they were succeeding. The information they passed to Moscow was, according to MI5, of the highest possible intelligence value. The break came from an unexpected source. A Polish intelligence officer named Michal Goleniewski had been secretly passing information to the CIA. Among his revelations, details of a KGB network operating in Britain connected to naval intelligence. MI5 began watching, and Lonsdale began to make mistakes. On the 7th of January 1961, MI5 moved in. Lonsdale was arrested near Waterloo Station. Within hours, the Kroger house in Ruislip was raided. Hidden under the kitchen floor, the transmitter. Inside a prayer book, a one-time cipher pad. The ring was broken. Lonsdale was sentenced to 25 years. The Krogers to 20 years each. But none of them served their full sentences. In 1964, Lonsdale was exchanged for Greville Wynne, a British businessman who had been arrested as a spy in Moscow. The Portland spy ring, as it became known, was one of the most damaging Soviet intelligence operations ever uncovered in Britain, and it had operated for years, completely hidden inside the infrastructure of ordinary life. What made the Portland ring so dangerous was not its technology. It was its ordinariness. A businessman, a retired couple selling books, a quiet house in the suburbs. The Cold War was not fought only in the shadows of Berlin. It was fought in ordinary streets, in ordinary houses, next to ordinary people who never knew. The house in Ruislip still stands. It looks exactly like every other house on the street, which is, of course, the point. History does not always hide in dramatic places. Sometimes it hides in the most boring address on the most ordinary road you have ever driven past. If you want to discover more hidden spy bases, places that look completely ordinary from the outside, subscribe to Shadow Archives. Subscribe and unlock the archives. New story every week. I will see you in the next one.